Now, I've listened to my 3 votes of what kind of videos I should be doing. Now, Valentine's Day is going to come up, and I am going to do a Valentine's Day TFL type video. But before I do that, I wanted to kind of do a special, maybe a special series. Now, this one is called Lorraine Me. Lorraine, this is going back to a 7-year-old girl I knew. Lorraine and me, of course, also 7 years old, back in 1985. Most of you probably were not around. Chances are, I don't think I've had. I think I had one or two elderly commentators, but everybody has not been around in '85. And I wanted to talk about this. I wanted to kind of reflect on this part of my life. So what I'm doing basically, I'm going over all the girls and women, young and old, that I have met over my 40. I guess I'm turning 44 this year. Fuck. I'm going to be 44 this year. So in the 44 years I've ever met all the females in my life, I wanted to talk about it because I'm not in a relationship right now. I'm not married. I have no girlfriend, no mistress, nobody. Okay. I do look at girls. I do look at women. I keep to myself. I mind my own business, but I had a life, an unremarkable, shitty life, but one I try to make the most of. And in all that time, I did meet a lot of females. So this first one is called, I can call it Lorraine, okay? Um, some inspirational piano music here. And I met her at an elementary school, and this was 1985. I would say the first grade or the second grade. I'm going to say maybe the first grade. Could have been the second grade. And I met a girl, Lorraine, kind of like this girl here, but this is stock footage. But Lorraine, this girl reminds me of Lorraine. And anyway, so Lorraine and I, we met in back then. I don't know how schools work these days. This was 1985. No internet, fax machines. People had those bulky brick phones you could talk on cellular. You had car phones. You had 5-inch floppy disks. You had Back to the Future, Knight Rider, Magnum PI reruns of 70s shows on KTLA 5 and KCOP 13, Saturday morning cartoons, Garbage Pail Kids, okay, different things. Okay. So this was like the first or second grade. I remember Lorraine. She was handicapped. She had little pigtails, brown hair, bangs. I met about 2 different girls. I'll talk about the other one maybe in a few days. Maybe every 2 or 3 days I'll talk about different girls. Okay, so we're both 7 years old, 7 or 8. And so she was in a wheelchair. I have hemophilia. So I was in the special ed group of Perez Elementary. Now, Perez Elementary, they had a strong program for special ed kids who were on crutches, kids who were on walkers and braces, kids who had one leg or no leg, some who were at mental disability, mental retardation, or Down syndrome. Some had wheelchairs, some didn't. And Lorraine and I we hung out. We did some arts and crafts. We did those macaroni on paper. We did doilies. We would do you take the sponge and you color the sponge and you make sponge art on paper. We did our math, our addition and subtraction, and we played outside. We played I don't think we played tetherball. Tetherball is such a dangerous thing, that big yellow rubber, leather ball on a string. Yeah, we did a little bit. And so I don't remember a whole lot, but we just talked a little bit. We talked about just simple things, cats and dogs and frogs and cartoons. I used to have a bloody nose back then. I remember having a bleeding nose all the time. I don't think I've ever had a bloody nose since I was 8 or 9 years old. And, from what I remember, there were a couple of good people. Octavia was one, and he had extreme cerebral palsy. He couldn't move a lot, but he was friendly, and we got along as friends in the 2nd and 4th grade, I think. And Lorraine was just in a wheelchair. She didn't have any problems with her muscles or hands, but we got along okay. And I remember one day we talked a little bit out in the schoolyard, and I believe it was during in between classes. And I remember some of my teachers or teachers' assistants, okay? And we talked and we ended by giving a kiss on the cheek. Not unlike when, men kiss men on the cheek, diplomats and politicians, or when you kiss a relative on the cheek, all right? Nothing sexual. I mean, we were fucking 7 years old, okay? We were kids. And I walked back to my class because she was going to her class and I was going to mine. Those were the days when you would study history and math. Actually, we had math and spelling and reading and writing in one with the same teacher in arts and crafts in the same class. So you had arts and crafts, reading, writing, math, and then physical education with another teacher, right? And these two old broads, who I remember who were teachers' assistants, they looked at me with their frown, with two frowns, okay? What did they remind me of? They remind me of these Patty and Selma from The Simpsons, right? These two old broads say, you're not supposed to kiss the girls. That's wrong. You're not supposed to do that. What you did was very wrong. So I don't know if they separated Lorraine and me, but I didn't talk to her and she didn't talk to me. We didn't see each other again. And that was the first girl I ever kissed. We didn't kiss on the lips, okay? We were still kids, okay? But these two bitter old broads, who probably haven't been fucked by their husbands in 20 years, dared to tell me what I did was wrong, which was so stupid. Just so mean. People think I'm mean-spirited. Look at the people that I was surrounded by that was gaslit. And in my family, I mean, excluding these two old broads here, you get gaslit in my family hard up the ass, and you're told to think and feel a certain way. So, I mean, it was kind of sad, would something come out of it? I don't know. I mean, she wasn't, thinking back, she wasn't, really cute or attractive, that attractive. Well, she was cute, but she wasn't, attractive like that. I mean, we were kids, 7 years old, right? But we did like each other's company. And I'm thinking in telling these stories, I'm thinking that maybe I will find the solution to being with someone that I really want to be with for the rest of my life or not, okay? I don't think I've ever been gay, though I find some males more attractive than most of the females I've ever been with, because at least some of the men have bedroom faces and most of the women look hideous. But that's a whole other chapter. I'll tell another time. But yeah, I miss Lorraine a bit. She would be in her 40s like me. I don't know if she's still alive. A lot of the special ed kids who had serious mental and physical ailments, some of them didn't get to live long. I've outlived a lot of people, including my own two brothers. But Lorraine, hopefully, if you're out there, you're doing all right. I think of you sometimes. Yeah, it sucks. I mean, there's just so much going on. But I moved on from that, obviously. I never saw her again. But next time, I'll talk about Deanna, who I didn't date. She was probably a little sexier, I think, if you could think of that. When you're 7 and you see another 7-year-old, you think of them as an adult because you only have yourself to compare to. And then when you get older, then they get older, and then you see them differently. And you seeing people 10 to 20 years later, it's a different take. I mean, they're not the same people that you left behind. What you leave behind and what you return to, I guess. Anyway, enough memories. Time to move on with a positive attitude, I guess, whatever that means.